So a little bit over 3 months ago, we covered the suspicious rise of the rapper Kodak Black's career. We talk about a lot of the dark lyrics in his music. We talk about the dark magic that he openly talks about and admits to participating in. We talk about the fallout from between him and one of his closest friends, who is also a rapper, and how this same friend came out and said that he felt like Kodak Black would try to sacrifice him so he would keep his distance. We talk about Kodak Black's ties to voodoo and his even many more obvious ties to Freemasonry, which in our opinion is what connects him to Donald Trump, which is why Kodak Black got a presidential pardon from Donald Trump, which is not very easy to get. And Kodak Black has also gotten a pass on countless very serious charges. Well, another thing in that video that we talked about is a guy by the name of Wiz the Wizard, which is another friend of Kodak Black's, who was once signed to Kodak Black's record label. And the story, or I should say the death of Wiz the Wizard, was so demonic and so insane that it literally required its own video. And in that video, we talk about how there is a guy who has been indicted and charged for the death of Wiz the Wizard, who was one of his opponents or one of his ops. But as I told you in the Wiz the Wizard video, do not be fooled by that, because there are other things that take place in the music industry and behind the scenes that's a little deeper than what meets the eye. Now, one last thing, for those of you out there who may already be familiar with this story and you're just ready to say, hey, Kodak had nothing to do with this, Wiz the Wizard was in the streets, a guy's already been arrested for his murder. I'm aware of all of that, but all I would say is you might want to stick around to the end of this video, because I may give you cause to pause, right? I may give you reason to believe that things aren't always as they seem. It's a little bit deeper than just gang violence and having street beef. There are other things that go on behind the scenes, and I told you all that based on the information that I would share in both of these videos, I think it will give people cause to pause. Well, here we are, a little bit over 3 months later, and crazy enough, one of those ops of Kodak Black and his crew is alleging in prosecution paperwork that the reason why they did what they did, Kodak Black was actually in on it. But we're going to break all of that down in this video.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Diddy Got a Podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Diddy. Please hit the like button on your way in if you do not mind. I would really appreciate it. Kodak Black, if you've been following this channel before September 10th of this year, since the whole Charlie Kirk incident has taken place, then I will consider you probably an OG, and you probably will remember that one of, if not the most recent video I had released was about Kodak Black and then Kodak Black's artist Wiz the Wizard, and the suspicious death, and one of the most gruesome deaths I've ever heard of in hip-hop history, which is that of Wiz the Wizard. And the timing of it all is part of the reason that made it suspicious, because he was having a falling out and a public beef with Kodak Black at the time.
Man, if you know me, man. You know I don't give a fuck about this internet shit, all this clout shit. I don't care for that. You feel what I'm saying? I ain't even say nothing crazy to you, bro. Shit, I ain't saying you green. I ain't saying you pussy. I ain't none of that. You my dog. I love you, bitch. I just want to buy the contract. You avoiding everything else but that contract. You talking about everything but that contract, bro. We not beefing, brother. The world know that, bro. You my brother, bro. It ain't that deep. We can link up and fight if that was the case. It ain't that deep. We ain't got no problem with each other, bro. You tripping, bro. I just want to get out my contract. What we doing? You don't fuck with a nigga, you ain't cool with a nigga. We ain't talking, it ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? Most deaf, bitch, let me buy the contract. So what we doing? All that shit irrelevant. Most deaf, my nigga.
Oh, he would holler at me direct, but I got him blocked. I got him blocked on Instagram. Fuck nigga, you gotta see my page. I don't want you popping up on my. You got my number though. Know what I'm saying? It's crazy as fuck. Niggas stay be trying to, oh yeah, but he got me blocked. I block you niggas, homie. At the same time, y'all got my numbers. I be trying to holler at these niggas on FaceTime. What these niggas be doing? Oh no, I don't wanna talk. I don't wanna talk. Or bang, hang up, or don't answer. Like I like FaceTime. I like to talk, homie. We could talk on FaceTime, homie. You niggas like to text, voice message, DM, make little posters and for paper trail, homie. For fans and can see it, homie, to leave evidence. insurance, homie. So when I bag one of you niggas, homie, they'll know who did it, homie. I don't be on that shit. That's when, okay.
Kodak is my brother, man. Y'all tripping. Kodak is my brother. Psycho my brother, man. Y'all stop that shit on my live, man. Y'all tripping, man. I'm my brothers, man. We not beefing. Where I'm not beefing with Kodak, my brother, man. Y'all tripping.
Well, if you remember, a lot of people was suspicious if Kodak Black had something to do with it, but they knew that these guys were in a gang and they were beefing with people in Florida. Well, things just got crazy, very crazy. You read the title of this video correctly, but even if you've seen other people cover it, shout out to Jake, 1090 Jake from End of Sentence. He's already covered this. Even if you've seen other people cover it, you're probably not going to hear anybody else cover it from the perspective on this channel. There's very few channels that's going to cover it from this perspective because it's more than what just face value. It's not just about gang beef or just having smoke with somebody in the streets. There are other things that go on in the music industry. There's a lot of Freemasonic numerology involved in a lot of these things that people easily overlook, or they're aware of it, but for good reason, they're too afraid to talk about it. I'm not. So let's get into it. There is a guy by the name of HMT Trey, who you will hear his name, his government name come up later in the indictment that we're about to read here in a moment, where it implicates Kodak Black. But HMT Trey is actually the person who has been charged and accused for taking out Wiz the Wizard. Well, it's already been documented that he's a part of an opposing gang in Florida. Well, an affiliate of his is a guy by the name of Sigmund Brown, or his rap name is Liberia Sig. Well, we're going to read just a little bit of the indictment to hear what Liberia Sig's own attorney has alleged. And then on the other side, after we're done reading this, we're going to tie this to the Lil Durk case, just so you all can better understand that this is not rare. This is a more common thing that happens all the time in the music industry. And we're going to tie to the Drake XXXTentacion situation, which, by the way, if you haven't seen my XXXTentacion video, it's one of the craziest videos and one of the best videos on this channel. I would recommend you check that out as well. All right, without further ado, let's get into the paperwork. So I think it's just very responsible or more credible to always show you all where I get this stuff from. It is from the Brenda D. Foreman, clerk of the court's website. All right, so this is legit. This is the legit website. I also want to show this because you're going to see some names and some words misspelled, but this is a common thing in paperwork. It doesn't really change the legitimacy of these claims at all. But I want to show you all where you can go and find it yourself as well. All right, let's scroll down here and let's see what this says. Let's just zoom in a little bit. All righty. So it says, State of Florida versus Sigmund Brown, right? Judge Bernard Bober. Let's scroll down here. Procedural history. It says Mr. Brown, which is the rapper Liberia Sig, is charged in a 33 count. Let's just start here. A 33 count. Now, for those of you that think that this is not a big deal, okay, Didi, what are you getting at? This is important because when you look at the Charlie Kirk case that we've been covering, and many of you all have found this channel because of the Charlie Kirk case, 33 came up all over the place. 33-hour manhunt for Tyler Robinson. You had 33, the number 33 came up with the Trump hats that were perfectly aligned on Charlie Kirk's table. The Hillary Clinton email scandal that we've covered, 33 came up. The Jeffrey Epstein situation, the number 33 came up quite a bit, and the list goes on. This is not a coincidence, which, by the way, for those of you that don't know how the legal system or the criminal system works, let me break it down, or the criminal justice system works. Let me explain to you. It is solely up to the prosecution if they choose or not to stack the charges. So what I mean is, if you go out and commit a crime, maybe the ultimate crime is that you injured someone or you pow someone. But in the process of doing that, you probably committed 3 other felonies or misdemeanors in the process. It is up to the prosecution if they choose to stack those charges. So the ultimate point I'm getting at here, because this is a RICO indictment, they can choose what all to include in the indictment and to recuse from the indictment, right? So the fact that they reached the number 33, a 33 count indictment, stands out that much more to me for this very reason. But let's continue. It says here, Mr. Brown, or Liberia Sig, is charged in a 33 count indictment with the 3 counts of first-degree murder, 8 counts of attempted first-degree murder, 1 count of racketeering, 1 count of conspiracy to commit racketeering, and the list goes on, right? You got 1 count of shooting into an occupied dwelling, and 1 count of and conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree with a firearm. So let's move over to page 11. It says count 17, accessory after the fact with a gang enhancement. Many of you all will know this, but when a gang enhancement is attached to the crime, it enhances things, and that means that the prosecution or the consequences are that much more severe because you not only committed a crime, but you committed a crime in furtherance of a gang. So it says here, alleging Brown assisted Trayvon Key, who is the rapper, accused of taking out Wiz the Wizard, HMT Trey. Trayvon Key is his government name. So it says, alleging Brown assisted Trayvon Key to avoid arrest after the murder of Wisdom Williams on September 17, 2021. This is a first-degree felony punishable by up to life. It says here, on the morning of September 17th, 2021, the body of Wisdom Williams, aka Wiz the Wizard, was discovered in the front yard of a home in Hollandale Beach. Williams had been shot in the back and head multiple times. Mr. Williams was a documented member of the Zone 10 gang and was being investigated by detectives of the BSO gang task force. Evidence suggests Williams was transported to the area in a gray Charger, where his body was left in a yard in Hallandale. The gray Charger was later discovered to have been intentionally burned in a parking lot of a residential area in North Lauderdale. The police investigators believe this arson occurred later in the morning of September 17, 2021. And as we covered already, the details surrounding this murder is just extremely gruesome. Some people claim that that Wiz the Wizard was dismembered, but regardless if that's true or not, allegedly this dude was taken out somewhere else, potentially in a different city, and was then drove to the location where he was later found, which is, it's already disrespectful to to unalive someone, but then to kidnap them, unalive them, and then take them to the neighborhood that they're from, which is just a few minutes from where their brother was taken out, is just another level of gruesome. It says here, on September 17th at 8:37 a.m., so early in the morning, James Samuel, a known associate of the Dania Hot Boys Grand Mafia Street Gang, sent an iMessage to Brown's phone, so Liberia Sig's phone, with a picture of the Wisdom Williams crime scene, including a body covered by a yellow tarp. The metadata from Samuel's phone showed the photo was taken near the crime scene. At 10:19 a.m. on September 17, 2021, Trayvon Key, aka Lil Trey, HMT Trey, sent his location to Brown's phone via a pin drop. This location matched the location Brown's phone sent to Martavis Cross about 5 minutes later. On August 3rd, 2021, Brown's phone communicated with Denzel Shannon via Telegram, right, which is usually the app that someone uses when it's not encrypted, and they can get away with sending these sort of protected or hidden messages, which is also, by the way, for those of you that have been following the Charlie Kirk investigation, it's the app that Charlie Kirk allegedly used to send to Dan Flood, one of his security members, and even Andrew Kovic, telling them that he felt like someone was going to be taking him out the following day. So there's a reason why people go to Telegram. And it says here, communicated with Denzel Shannon via Telegram, indicating Kodak Black. And we know here that we can see here that Kodak Black's name is misspelled, but we all know who this is in reference to, had offered the Grand Mafia $20,000 for the murder of Wisdom Williams. Even if true, this is hardly evidence that Liberia Sig or Brown was paid any money for assisting in the homicide or helping Key avoid arrest. Proof of guilt is not evident, nor is the presumption of guilt great. Goes without saying, this is Liberia Sig's own attorney's words defending him, saying that even if you can't prove that a payment was made, allegedly proof could be shown of communications between two people where one of them is stating that Kodak Black was the person that paid for the hit. Now, many people already suspected that Kodak Black was behind this or connected or involved in some manner, which is disgusting in itself to even have that thought, to even have someone assume that you would do something like this. But the reason for it, I think a lot of people are missing it. They think it's just because of a falling out or because of disloyalty. I think it's because he probably was overdue. Remember in the XXXTentacion video, we talked about the ritual that he literally did over the jail phone. It's not debatable. It's not a conspiracy theory. The dude literally did a ritual, had his homie to go and get the correct rituals that he had to read and perform in jail so that he can get out. But in this ritual, you can literally hear him saying how he would have to offer up a sacrifice. So for those of you that think this is fairy tale, it's not real. These people believe it's real. And clearly there's something to it, because many of them either follow through or they attempt to follow through with it. And sure enough, when XXXTentacion got out of jail, it wasn't long before one of his fans met up with him and lost her life under very weird circumstances. So when you consider the fact that Kodak Black has been out of his mind, people can understand why the guy is on drugs and has he been cloned. And when you know that you've done some things, it's kind of hard to stay sober, allegedly. But not only that, you got other affiliates like Jack Boy coming out saying that, hey man, you gonna try to sacrifice me. Trump giving you pardons and all this other weird stuff going on around you. I'm not coming back around you. It's the same thing that XXXTentacion's own friend said about him as well. He went to Instagram, as y'all who have seen the videos already know, and he said, y'all keep telling me to go back around X. Nah, man, he gonna try to sacrifice me. Do y'all think this is a joke? To mention the very odd and suspicious lyrics that we've already covered in my Kodak Black video and my Wiz the Wizard video of Kodak Black literally telling us in his music that he has sacrificed people or that he's willing to sacrifice people. The weird lyrics from his song with none other than Kendrick Lamar, another industry puppet. And as if it can get any worse, Kodak Black's own cousin has come out himself and said that Kodak Black cannot be sacrificing people and also pretending like he's not doing it.
Man, y'all new generation, man. You cannot go around sacrificing your whole team. The next thing you know, when you lonely, you go around Twitter about like you going through postpartum depression. Shut the fuck up. You know what you were signing into.
There's never been honor amongst thieves. See, you gotta understand, we come from an environment where somebody will kill you and go to your funeral and kiss your mother, and then go to the club later on that night and pop a bottle.
47 shots.
Yeah. Niggas will pop a bottle after they kill you just to celebrate. That's the communities that we come from. Real treacherous. You think they call themselves vultures for no reason? No, vultures eat the dead. Kodak said it himself. You already dead if you fuck with me. 1800, the ugly corner, where they smile at you when they don't like you. Proof in the pudding. G shit.
You make of that what you will. But not only that, when you look at the Lil Durk situation, King Von lost his life. Yes, King Von wasn't officially signed to Lil Durk, but he was under the Durk umbrella, if you will. And King Von was blowing up. I would even say that he was more talented of a rapper than a Lil Durk. And the fact that we can see what happened to King Von on camera, people say, okay, they was running up on Quando Rondo. Quando Rondo's man defended him. King Von lost his life. That is until a guy by the name of OTL Vunny, his father, came out earlier this year and dropped a huge bomb on everybody and said, no, that's not exactly what happened. Y'all don't know what went on behind the scenes. And he went on to state that there was a payment made allegedly from Lil Durk and Lil Durk's team to Quando Rondo's team to take out King Von. And what would better explain, because you say, well, King Von still decided to approach them himself. OTF Vunny's dad is saying this is because a few things happened at night that were unusual. They gave King Von a pill because they knew that if they gave him a pill and then waited till he was high to tell him that they saw Quando Rondo, King Von will be much more likely to approach on the BS. They also claimed that they was riding a different type of SUV that night that wasn't bulletproof, which they usually ride bulletproof. And they also had a different driver that night. Other affiliates have come out and stated this. Why is this important? Because if giving King Von a pill, waiting to see Quando Rondo so that King Von can do what King Von is known to do, run up on the ops, so that then the person who allegedly took a payment months earlier in the year can do what he's supposed to do and take out King Von. If that didn't transpire the way it was supposed to transpire, and King Von decided to just stay in the SUV, then they were going to try to have King Von just taken out while he's in the SUV. Allegedly. These are not my words. That's what these people said. So yes, these are only allegations, but there's a pattern that we're seeing here with all these rappers. Part of the reason why I have a whole playlist on this channel called Are You Sure You Want to Be a Rapper? Because we just have countless videos, countless stories, countless indictments, countless RICO charges, countless deaths, countless rituals, countless sacrifices that just keep on happening. And this is just another one. This can get very sticky really fast. Who knows where this may or may not go? Just wanted to bring y'all this crazy update because it turns out that there was a lot of potential validity and merit to the suspicion surrounding the Wiz the Wizard death. But y'all in the comment section, let me know what you think. As always, hit the like button on your way out. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.